Welcome back to the channel. My name is Emily, and until that Labor Day weekend, I truly believed family meant unconditional love. I was the oldest daughter in our household, the one everyone depended on whenever life became inconvenient. My mother, Linda, often reminded me that I was the responsible one, while my younger sister, Chloe, was treated like the sunshine of the family. My Aunt Sarah joked that I was born to take care of everyone else, and somehow that joke slowly became my entire identity. Whenever someone needed help packing, babysitting, cleaning, cooking, or running errands, they called me first. I never complained because I believed that one day they would appreciate everything I sacrificed for them. When Labor Day approached, everyone excitedly talked about a weekend trip to a beautiful lakeside resort. My mother asked me what I thought about renting a cabin, my sister asked me to help her choose vacation outfits, and my aunt even asked me to research restaurants in the area. I happily spent hours helping them organize everything because I assumed I was going to. The night before the trip, I baked homemade cookies for everyone to take on the road and packed several coolers with drinks and snacks. I even woke up before sunrise to finish preparing breakfast so we could leave early. But when I carried my suitcase downstairs, the entire house suddenly became strangely quiet. My mother looked at me with an awkward smile before saying, "Emily, we've been meaning to talk to you." My stomach immediately tightened. She explained that the cabin had fewer beds than expected and someone had to stay behind. Before I could respond, Chloe interrupted with a shrug and said, "You're the practical one. You don't even like vacations that much." I stared at her, completely speechless, because I had never said anything like that. My aunt avoided looking into my eyes while quietly adding that someone also needed to stay home to feed the family dog and collect the mail. Every excuse sounded more ridiculous than the last. My younger cousins stood near the front door pretending not to hear the conversation. My father barely spoke at all, only muttering that they would make it up to me next time. Next time. Those two words echoed painfully inside my mind. I realized there had always been a next time that never came. They loaded the car while I stood frozen on the front porch holding the suitcase I had packed with excitement only an hour earlier. My mother hugged me quickly without making eye contact. Chloe laughed as she climbed into the SUV, already taking selfies before they even left the driveway. Within seconds the vehicle disappeared around the corner, leaving me standing alone in complete silence. I carried my suitcase back inside, unpacked every piece of clothing, and tried convincing myself it wasn't a big deal. Maybe they truly had no choice. Maybe I was overreacting. I spent the afternoon cleaning the kitchen, feeding the dog, and folding everyone's laundry because I didn't know what else to do. That evening my phone buzzed with several social media notifications. Curious, I opened the family group chat. Dozens of vacation pictures filled the screen. Everyone smiled beside the lake, roasting marshmallows, riding boats, and laughing together. Then I saw the picture that completely shattered my heart. Chloe had posted a family photo with the caption, "Best trip ever, when she's not around." Face with tears of joy red heart. Hundreds of people had already liked it, including relatives who knew me my entire life. Some even commented with laughing emojis. My hands began shaking so badly that I nearly dropped my phone. In that heartbreaking moment, I finally understood that being left behind had never been an accident, it had been exactly what they wanted. The next morning, I woke up hoping that maybe I had imagined the cruel caption, but the moment I unlocked my phone, it was still there. Overnight it had collected even more likes, comments, and laughing reactions. Some relatives wrote things like, "Looks like the family is finally enjoying themselves," while others joked that the vacation must have been so peaceful without me. Not a single person defended me. I stared at the screen until my eyes filled with tears, then quietly placed the phone face down on the kitchen table. For the first time in years, I stopped making excuses for everyone else's behavior. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a mistake. It was humiliation, and they had done it publicly. Instead of crying all day, I decided to spend the weekend doing something for myself. I drove to my favorite little cafe, ordered breakfast without worrying whether anyone else liked the menu, and sat by the window watching families walk past. At first, loneliness sat heavily on my shoulders, but as the hours passed, I noticed something unexpected. No one was asking me to clean up after them. No one expected me to solve their problems. No one interrupted my thoughts or treated me like a servant. The silence felt unfamiliar, but it also felt peaceful. While scrolling through my emails, I noticed a message from the company where I worked. A management position in another city had reopened. Months earlier I had ignored the opportunity because my mother insisted the family needed me nearby. She always said I couldn't leave because she depended on me too much. This time, instead of deleting the email, I clicked the application link. I updated my resume, wrote a thoughtful cover letter, and submitted everything before I could second-guess myself. The moment I pressed send, I felt lighter than I had in years. Later that afternoon, my best friend Sophie called after seeing the family photos online. She hesitated before asking if I was okay. I finally told someone the truth. I admitted how often my family took advantage of me, how they constantly expected me to sacrifice everything, and how they had left me behind on purpose. Sophie wasn't shocked. Instead, she quietly said, "Emily, I've wanted to tell you this for years, but I knew you weren't ready to hear it. They've been using your kindness because they know you'll always forgive them." Her words hurt because they were true. She invited me to spend the evening with her and her sister, Hannah. We watched movies, ordered pizza, laughed until midnight, and for the first time in a long while, I felt genuinely included. No one made me wash dishes afterward. No one treated me like I owed them something. They simply enjoyed my company. On Labor Day evening, my family finally returned home. I heard the SUV pull into the driveway, followed by loud laughter as they carried shopping bags and souvenirs inside. My mother immediately called my name from the hallway. "Emily, can you help unload everything?" she shouted as though nothing unusual had happened. I calmly walked downstairs, looked at the mountain of luggage, and quietly replied, "No." Everyone froze. Chloe laughed nervously, assuming I was joking, but I wasn't. My father frowned while my aunt whispered that I was acting childish. Then my mother rolled her eyes and said, "You're still upset about the trip? You're being dramatic." Without raising my voice, I pulled out my phone, opened Chloe's social media post, and held it in front of everyone. The room became silent. "Was this supposed to be funny?" I asked. Chloe shrugged and muttered, "It was only a joke." I looked directly at her. Jokes are funny when everyone laughs. I was the only person being laughed at. My mother quickly tried to change the subject, claiming people were taking it too seriously, but I interrupted for the first time in my life. I told them I had spent years cooking their meals, babysitting their children, cleaning their house, canceling my own plans, and putting their happiness before my own. In return, they left me behind, mocked me online, and expected me to unpack their luggage when they returned. No one had an answer. They simply stared at me as though they had never imagined I might finally stand up for myself. Then I quietly announced something that changed the atmosphere forever. "I applied for a management position in another city this morning," I said. "If I get the job, I'm leaving." The color immediately drained from my mother's face, while Chloe suddenly realized that the sister she had taken for granted might actually be walking away forever. A week passed, and the silence inside the house became impossible to ignore. My family acted as though nothing had happened, but everything had changed. My mother no longer asked me to cook dinner because I politely refused every request that treated me like a maid instead of a daughter. Chloe suddenly had to do her own laundry, clean her own room, and make her own breakfast. Within days, everyone realized just how much work I had quietly carried for years. The house became messy, dishes piled up in the sink, and arguments broke out over chores that I had always handled without expecting recognition. Instead of stepping in to fix everything, I focused on myself. I spent my evenings reading, exercising, and preparing for interviews. For the first time, my future mattered more than keeping everyone else comfortable.